Hey guys, Dissection of Violence here. We're gonna get right into the UFC event, UFC Paris. Interesting card. Um, to be honest, I have a decent amount of plays on this card. Not as much. I played off the props because it's come to my attention that it's been a little bit not consistent, and yeah, I had to make that change. So to start off, we'll start this card off with Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Zara Fan. So Zarafan, she's interesting. Her best performance was her last fight, and it was a loss. She could have won that fight. Um, she's tall, long reach. Her- she has a decent chin. Um, you know, she's got some decent hands. Uh, yeah, I think she's experienced enough as well. She's facing someone though who I believe is pretty talented. Cavalcante has faced some decent competition. Obviously, not UFC caliber, but I feel like she's good enough to where she should be able to beat Zara Farron. The biggest concern for me is the height of Zara Farron. Zara Farron has very deceptive height. It's a problem for a lot of her opponents, and it could be a problem for Cavalcante, given she is pretty tall. So it could, cancel that out here. Um, this is hard, man, because Cavalcante is she's heavy-handed. She has some decent BJJ. I'm gonna go with Cavalcanti here, just being the more technical, um, well-rounded, and talented fighter. She's also younger in her prime. Zara Farron is way past her prime, if not slightly out of her prime. I can't remember how old she is, 36 or 39, one of the two. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Cavalcanti here. It just seems like the side. Moving on, we have Clayton Rodriguez taking on Farid Basharat. Interesting fight here. Clayton is very talented, but he hasn't looked great against guys who he should look great against. Um, the biggest loss, or yeah, the biggest thing I gotta say about him was the fight with CJ Vergara where he got pressured. He doesn't do well with being pressured and being the nail. Um, he has some decent talent. He's athletic. I don't know how he's gonna look at bantamweight. I'm guessing he's gonna be undersized. I'm gonna go with Fareed Basharat here, pick him apart, getting a unanimous decision, if not a late finish. But I'm gonna go with Fareed Basharat here. I just feel like it's a pretty easy pick. Rodriguez he's dangerous, but I just don't think he's good enough to beat Basharat. This is one of my more confident predictions on the cards, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But yeah, Clayton Rodriguez, he is all athletics, not a whole lot of, purpose between his strikes. He doesn't have a lot of, you know, there's a lot of just randomness to his strikes, whereas Basharat's extremely calculated. I'm gonna go with Farid here. Moving on, Nora Cannoli versus Jocelyn Edwards. Cannoli isn't bad. I just think this isn't a fight where like you can be confident on either side. Um, for me personally, I'm gonna pass. I don't really see a lot of value in either side. Um, she's got a decent clinch game, Nora does. Her striking isn't amazing. I'm gonna have to watch more tape, but I'm pretty sure Cornell is nothing special. Yeah, she's just a Thai chick. She's had some decent wins, I guess, in UAE. Um, Yeah, I don't know what to make of her career so far. I'm gonna go with Jocelyn Edwards here, just being the better striker, winning a decision, either you split or unanimous. But it could be a close fight. It could go either way. Moving on, we have Ange Lusa versus Reese McKee. Reese McKee is definitely one of the most interesting prospects out of Cage Warriors. Yes, he's fought in the UFC before. but I just don't think he was ready back then. Whereas now, I feel like he's a man now, and he's ready to, take the UFC by storm. I feel like he has a few problems. He's not really like powerful, but being so tall. It's kind of like that Bella Gurui problem where he's he almost looks lazy with his strikes. But I do really like McKee here. He showed good cardio, great striking, good takedown defense, like jiu-jitsu defense with Burlinson, who and I rate Burlinson a lot. I'm gonna go with Reese McKee here. I feel like Angelusa, he does well against guys who are in the pocket and who can exchange with him, but I feel like the leg kicks won't be enough to face a guy like Reese McKee. I feel like Reese McKee is going to be chewing him up with his distance, his range, his jab. I feel like it's going to be too much for Lusa, and I feel like the optics are going to kill him in this fight. I'm going to go with McKee by split or unanimous decision. But honestly, I could see Lusa stealing a decision as well. So I'm gonna go with McKee here, but it's not a lock for sure. Yeah, moving on. We have Colin Loughrane versus Taylor Lapalus. So Taylor Lapalus is very, very clean and precise. He's definitely the better brother of the two. The thing with him though is he hasn't like he's already had a UFC run again. Like Reese, I don't think he was ready for it. But here we have an unknown because Colin Loughrane is very, very talented. He has got short arms, and he doesn't, he's made it close with a few guys where I feel like he could have, finished it earlier. So I'm gonna go with Taylor Lapilus here. I've changed my prediction. I think he's gonna be able to outpoint Loughrane for 3 rounds. It could go either way, but I'm honestly on Lapilus here. I feel like he's a very, very talented prospect out of France. And I feel like recency bias is giving too much love into Laughlin. I feel like it should be negative 200 for Lapalus, or even negative 150. But yeah, the odds are pretty low. I'm probably going to scoop that. Moving on, we have Morgan Charrier versus Manolo Zecchini. So this is an interesting one. Zecchini, nothing is too crazy that stands out about him. Yeah, he's aggressive and he comes to finish. He's decently athletic. The thing about him though is he's pretty green. He hasn't fought really anybody good. You know, I don't really know what to make of him. He's fighting up Jackson's wings now. You know, I'm gonna go with Sherrier here. I just don't think this kid has longer than a round of cardio, and I think Sherrier can get him out of there late, maybe an early scare. I'm gonna go with Sherrier here. 18 and 9 doesn't reflect the talent on him. I do feel like he's very, very talented. So I'm gonna go with Sherrier here in the distance. But it's definitely a fight where I wouldn't be shocked if he wins it by decision either, or if the other guy somehow wins. But yeah, I'm going with Morgan Sherrier here. I feel like he's the side. Usually you gotta ride with all the French guys, but some fights don't make sense. This is not one of them. So I'm gonna go with Morgan Sherrier. Moving on, we have William Gomez versus Giannis Jimomori. Jimomori is actually decent. He's a pretty competent striker. He's more dangerous in my opinion on the feet than Gomez. Um, I feel Gomez is a bit of a fraud, but like Gemma Moore's he's had some decent competition as well, so it's like I don't know how to take this. I'm gonna have to, stay on the side of Gemma Moore as a bet, but as a prediction, I'm gonna have to go with Gomi just because he mixes in the wrestling. Gamore's faced some good guys. I believe he's fought in Brave. So I'm gonna go with Gomes here slightly by prediction, but honestly, I would not be shocked to see a Gamori win by decision or even a KO. But yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Definitely gonna be interested in this one. Moving on, we have Bogdan Guskov versus Volkan Ozdemir. Someone easily could get put to sleep in this fight, but I don't know if it's gonna be Volkan. Just because Volkan, yes, he can get chin, but I just don't see that happening a lot. And I do think this Guskov guy, other than the fact that he does train with good guys, he relatively has faced nobody, and he doesn't lead the first round a lot. So I don't really know what to make of him. A lot of question marks, mystery box with this Guskov guy. So I'm gonna have to go with Ozdemir here. But I'm not confident, and I'm not like I don't advise playing him. I already did because I didn't think, but I didn't play a lot, so definitely don't play this fight. I don't feel like there's a lot to gain from this fight, so it's just a mess of a fight. But yeah, I'm on Vulcan by uh, let's go second round TKO. I don't know. Moving on, we have Benoit Saint Denis taking on Thiago Moises. So initially, I was really heavy on Benoit Saint Denis, but they did offer a good point. He did look fairly pedestrian against Gabriel Miranda, and he did look fairly pedestrian in his few other fights. And not to mention Zaleski absolutely just broke him. Thiago Moises is not as dangerous on the feet as these guys, but he does have some skills on the feet, nice kicks. Do I think they're going to be enough to deal with Saint Denis? No, I'm still going to be picking Saint Denis to win, but I would not be shocked to see a Moises victory here, and for that reason, I will be arbing out of half of my play for Dennis, just because I don't feel comfortable laying more than a unit or two, So I'm gonna go with Saint Denis here, but it's definitely a fight that I'm not confident in anymore, at least. Speaking of not confident anymore, moving on, we have Rose Namajunas versus Manon Fiorot. Manon Fiorot, in my opinion, is a bit of a fraud in the waiting. Her fight with Caitlin Chikagian kind of proved it to me. She's decent. She shows good things, but for the most part, she's pretty like pedestrian. She doesn't show a whole lot other than trying to rack up points. Rose is there to take you out. She's very, very technical. When she's on, she's on. When she's off, she's off. There's no in between. Rose is very, very emotional. She's a very emotional fighter, and she seems to be in a good place right now. So it is a little scary. So for that reason, I'm going to be on Manel Florat, but I'm not going to advise playing her just because of that reason. I just have a bad feeling. I'm kind of stuck in this position where I have to, continuing to tailor, but definitely wouldn't advise tailing her. I definitely think this fight is another fight that could be a disaster waiting to happen. But yeah, moving on. We have Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivak. Sergey, he is an absolute beast on the ground. His ground and pound is decent as well. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good as well on the ground. Top pressure very good. His throws are very good. I just rate Spivak's grappling very well, but the thing with Spivak is he's not very athletic, and his striking's awful, and his footwork isn't good. And if you're facing someone as clean and as quick as Gone, you're gonna need to have some like decent footwork. And he does train at Extreme, so it's gonna give him a good look. But I'm gonna go with Gone here. I just think he's gonna be too crisp for him, and I feel like he's gonna make him pay when he crashes in. I do like Gone here, but it's a hard fight for me to say, oh, hammer this fight. It's definitely a fight that you should be careful either way. But I'm gonna definitely go with Gone here. I just think that's the right spot. But yeah, guys, let me give you guys my top five most confident picks, and then we'll get out of here. So number one, let me give you guys my number one. All right, I'm gonna have to go with Gone number one, or no, Basharat number one, Gone number two, Charrier number three, Cavalcanti number four, Lawhern or McKee number five. All right, guys, you know the drill. Uh, yeah, Sherry number four. Lawhern's not anything. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, you know the drill, and I'll catch you later. See ya.